Muted.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And we are glad that you've had a few minutes there to look at the assignments and start doing some of the work for the exercise. Now, I must there has been some concerns that there have been some several people have had problems trying to get into the workshop this evening. We do apologize, but if you are on, well, obviously you didn't have a problem getting in. We will take care of those people. You can let your friends know that if they can't get into the web view, they can still call in. In their invitation and the confirmation, it gives them a phone number and an access code. Unfortunately, there's not a generic one. It's an individual code because it's to make sure that it's secure and that we don't have bad people participating in the workshop and people who aren't here for with permission. But it is time to move on to the next segment of the workshop, and we're going to delve deeper into the persistent complaints or irritations. See, some of you are what we call smart rats. You've been around, you've done transformational work, you've been to the mountaintop, you've done whatever you've done. You're beyond complaints, but you have irritations. Now, you've had the same complaint or issue for months, days, years. Whatever suggestion is made to resolve the issue is never the right solution. You get upset, resign, angry, nonchalant, throw up your hands, or some variation of the aforementioned items. You have created clever ways to disguise the complaint, but it always works its way back into the conversation. So we're going to start on that, but before we continue on, we do want to hear now during the exercise, the divas have actually been working on the act. They are in it as well. When I'm not leading it, I'm doing the work as well. Actually, I have to do the work even before I get to lead it. So I'm doing the work just like everybody else. Now, we're going to have a couple of the divas actually share what they, a couple of their complaints. And is there a diva in the house? Let's see. Do we have Diva Nakia with something that she can share right quick? Some of her complaints.
I do. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, you are great. You're great.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so one of my persistent complaints, and I'll just go to the business side of things, is the fact that I took time off from work to go back to school, and I have yet to see my return on my investment in stopping my business endeavors to enhance my educational background and experience, to show the people that I'm serious, I'm in it, and dedicated to ensuring that you have the best me that I can offer you. And my transition back into it has been, into working on my business and in my business, has been a challenge. So that degree is there. Those degrees are there. However, where's the return on my investment? So that's my persistent complaint. The payoff.
Okay. Oh, no. All I want you to do is, all we're asking in this segment is to share the complaint. So
All
your
right.
complaint is that I spent the money for a better education, and I'm not getting the fruits from the efforts.
Correct.
Yeah, I spent the money, took the time, and I'm not seeing the results. All right, I can get that that's a complaint. And how long has you had that complaint? Has it been months, days, years?
Well, it's been, I'll say, going on a year.
Okay,
I'll say.
okay, okay. All right, so almost a year, so months.
Yes.
All right, months. Okay, I thank you, Diva Nakia. That was clear as could be. I wonder if we have a goddess in the house.
Oh, we do, Ronnie B. Hello, and how are you?
And goddess, would you mind sharing a persistent complaint that the thing about the goddess is that the goddess is kind of like, we've hung out together for a while, so we have the worst persistent complaints.
Well, I was looking at a couple of different categories or areas in my life, and I found there were some consistencies in my complaints, my persistent complaints. I looked at money, where I said, never seem to have enough. What we have doesn't last. I seem to be lacking that consistency. Now, I found that I said the same thing when it came to my energy and my health. Wow, was that a revelation for me? That's a definite persistent complaint that I've been running, probably for years.
Well, I won't tell you how long I ran the 10 times working harder to be equal. I had a long career.
Oh, that you did.
A long career. Diva Shani, we have a minute. Would you care to share a persistent complaint? And Diva Shani, we might have a little technical difficulty with the. Oh, there we go.
I'm dancing over here. No, my persistent complaint is actually being people wanting you to work for free or less than.
Okay.
Yeah. Wanting you to work for free or for less money than the next person.
Or cheaper. The old cheap state. Yeah, you just. Well, I'm glad we're all in this workshop, because we actually got a resolution for one. At least that one, we got something for you there. Okay. But we shall see. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. And Diva Nikki, would you care to share a persistent complaint? All right, we might be having a little technical thing with Diva Nikki, but I'm sure she's got her persistent complaint written down, And as we said, persistent complaints or irritations, because they've been there for a while. This is not something new. Now, the nature. Okay, while we're going through this, I want you to kind of, as I'm speaking, I want you to review your list and think about what you've been putting up with, trying to change or fix, and pretending it's okay. Now, the nature of being human is we want to be right. Anytime we are holding on to something, especially a complaint, it is because we are getting something from it, keeping it around like a payoff, getting something out of the deal. Now, I grew up in Chicago. Now, I didn't grow up in Chicago when they had Al Capone, but I saw the movies. And in those movies, what would happen is you'd have the sweet little old couple at the candy shop. But in the back of the candy shop, you had all the gambling and the drinking and the bad women and bad men. Equal opportunity bad there. It's like a front. Well, the thing about a complaint is it's sort of like a front because they're a payoff. Now, one part of that is that you get to be right and others get to be wrong. Hey, folks, people, the world told me that if I went and spent my money and got my bachelor's and my MBA and my doctorates, I'd be successful. Money would be knocking down the door. Opportunities would open up and stuff. And, I'd be sitting pretty. Now, I get to justify, another payoff is you get to justify your behavior, the things you do, the actions, and you invalidate the actions of others. And you'll invalidate your own actions. What'll happen is the good you did, all of a sudden, you get paid for that. You would have done something great, made a huge deal. Well, I didn't get paid for it. And invalidate the whole thing. And, you get to justify your actions or lack of actions. Another thing is, and while I'm saying these, the divas, our participants, we want you to look, map these on to the complaints, to your complaints. Map them on. Now, the other thing you get is you get to dominate the conversation. That's right. You get to dominate the conversation and not have to hear the other side or avoid being dominated and having to listen to another's point of view. See, when you're being right, when you dig that foot in, you can dominate it. I'm not hearing you. Because you get to stay right. You don't want to hear that other point of view. Because in hearing that point of view, it might have you give up some of the pretense. Because ultimately, the ultimate thing with a persistent complaint is you get to avoid the responsibility that the complaint exists. Because there's nothing in this universe, whether it is an affliction or a gift, that if you're not responsible for it, then it will do you in. Your gifts will do you in if you're not responsible for them. And your affliction will do you in if you're not responsible for them. You might even get more of them. But ultimately, it's to avoid responsibility. Now, when we are being right about our complaints, we get a payoff. Well, if it's, well, what's the deal here? We got the payoffs. Well, guess what? There are costs. Health and vitality. What does it cost to have a complaint that, hey, I spent all this money, I should have a better job? There's might be a little stress going on there. some opportunities not being able to actually see. Health and vitality, working's a chore when you know you should be doing something greater. Because it's never the work, it's never the job. Someone else in that job, someone else with that work, that they'd be like, oh God, this is where I want to be at this moment. But for you, it's stress, harm, it's a chore. The love, it costs you love and joy. Not just with the job, the area, the issue, but it spreads around. Freedom and power. There is no power in a complaint. The freedom and power is resolving the complaint. No power in the complaint, freedom and power resolving the complaint. And ultimately your full self-expression. It costs you your full self-expression because who you are, the power you have, is now stunted because you're giving your power and your expression over to the complaint. The complaint is running your show. The complaint is telling you what to do. So now you're not creating, you're not resolving, you're being the victim. And all of that is because you know that you don't have to be no victim, not of that complaint or any other complaint. But you would have to start being responsible. Now, before we went over that a little bit, and I'm gonna call on one of let's see if one or two of the divas will work with me here. And is there a diva who'd be willing to work with me? Maybe Diva Nakia.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Diva Nakia, for being ready to work with me. I'm actually going to call other divas too, but I just thought I'd start with you because you're first on the list.
I know what that means.
Okay.
I don't like to be first.
Okay. Now, we're actually just going to take it through the steps, okay? Now, okay. One of the persistent complaints you shared was about, hey, you spent a ton of money to get a better education so that, you'd have a better career and make more money. And now, given, now you can change complaints, or do you want to stick with that one?
I'll stick with that one. I'm not going to be afraid.
All right. Okay. We'll stick with that one. Now, what are the payoffs you now see that you're getting from holding on to this complaint?
Okay. My payoff is that I have the multiple degrees and knowledge, knowing what's to be done and getting it done, and being able to provide and assist my clients with having a much better outcome than I may have been able to provide them prior to me getting this degree. Okay, all right, that would be like which is a good fact. That would be like the fact. I could see some good creation, but let's look. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the model. Okay, I got you, Ronnie. Here we go. Basically, preventing me from being 100% responsible for the failures and inadequacies, and having the ability to have room for excuses as to why I wasn't able to achieve or accomplish something.
Okay, all right. So in English, and we see this is the thing. We're just going to say break it down in English. Okay. It's your ready-made excuse for not being responsible to take on the work of going to the next step.
Yes.
Yep. It's your ready-made. I paid all this money and I got my degree and I still don't have it yet. but that's really just a ready-made excuse to so, to not step up and do the even more work.
Yes.
All right, okay, all right, okay. So you get to avoid the responsibility of being powerful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, okay. That sounds somewhere in the realm
Yeah.
of the world.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, okay, all right, and okay, and all right, and let's see. Let's see here. How about the goddess?
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Never enough.
All right. So we're looking for the payoff to never enough.
Never
Right?
enough. Yeah. Yes.
Well, here's what I concluded, and especially after listening to you talking with Nakia, that what I've realized is when I say I never have enough, there's this lack of consistency, and I follow it up with, well, others don't do enough, I do too much. I can see, yeah,
Oh.
it's like it seems to be banded together with a
Mm.
few other complaints, which I think is all in place, actually. But
Bad
what I
on the
realized is,
run.
yeah, it's a way of saying I don't have to extend myself to step into a bigger or more successful version of myself because I'm already overextended, and that you
Mm.
can't give more than what you have, right? You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. But listening
Right.
to you just a few minutes ago, I realize I think I too have been avoiding responsibility of being powerful and
Mm.
empowered. Oh,
Mm.
oh, is that a mirror in the face? Mm.
and you are very empowered.
I would agree with that statement.
Yeah, and this is something that's great, for the participants. This is why we're working with the divas because they already. I mean these are successful, powerful ladies, men, people. These aren't the slackers. These are the people who've done the work, been there, done the thing, and still grappling
Yeah,
with
yeah.
areas
There's
and
always
issues.
room for
So
improvement.
yeah,
Always.
still grappling with areas that are impacting them. Wow, wow, now that was great. That was great. And now we're going to take a little 10-minute break to give folks a chance to look over the work from this first part of the seminar. And while you're doing that, okay, we have a little exercise. We always have exercises for you. So we're going to, okay, I got a signal from the production folks that we're going to make this a 5-minute possibility break and exercise. And we want you to review your list and select the 3 most important issues. Now, next to each issue, we want you to create new actions you can take to resolve the issue if you choose to be responsible. Now, for most of you, the exercise with persistent complaints has started opening up some freedom around a complaint, and you have an action you're going to take to resolve the issue. So when we come back from the break, you can share. We're going to ask 1 or 2 of the divas to kind of share an issue they picked and the action that they see that they can now take to resolve that issue. And okay, the time is now. Let's see what that good old time is going to be. And the time is now 7:28. We'll be returning at, let's just make it at 7:35 Central Time. And while you're welcome to enjoy a little music from the I think we have one of the Divas, and we have a bunch of the Divas, and we'll see you back at 7:35.
Constant influence. On a ship sitting at anchor, turning the rudder, even an extreme amount has zero effect. Yet when the ship is in motion, just the slightest change in the rudder can change the ultimate destination by hundreds of miles. Much as the rudder guides the direction of a ship, your thoughts guide the direction of your life. Though thoughts have no external power of their own, they exert a continuing influence on the direction of your life. By very definition, life is dynamic, always moving, always changing. Your thoughts influence the nature of that change, the direction of that motion. Even the smallest thoughts have great influence as they are magnified by your actions over time. Every thought you choose has an impact on the way your life unfolds. Negative thoughts may seem harmless and even comforting because of their familiarity. Yet, each negative thought is turning the rudder of your life toward an undesirable destination. Fortunately, you are in control and can quickly point your thoughts in a positive, empowering direction just by choosing to do so. Remind yourself often of the influence of every thought and use positive thoughts to lead life where you want it to go. Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. ProsperousDivas.com. We hope to see you at our first ever Better Than Donald Trump Grow Your Money workshop, Saturday, April 16th, 2016, in Houston, Texas.
Sometimes life sends me people who are good or bad too. But as for me, Lord, I am into you. Trouble may come, and you don't know what to do. But as for me, Lord, I am into you. Sometimes in life, problem comes, you don't know what to do. But thank you, Lord, for choosing me. That's why I am into you. My so-called free, want me to do what they do, but not me, Lord. I am into you. Sometimes in life, problem comes and you don't know what to do. Just say, I am into you. Sometimes in life, problem comes and you don't know what to do. You say, Lord, I am into you. Family and friends, they come to help you to go through. But Lord, you already fixed it for me. That's why I am into you. Sometimes in life, problem comes and you don't know what to do. Just say, Lord, I am into you. Sometimes in life, problem comes and you don't know what to do. Just say, Lord, I am.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, I'm glad everybody's made it back to their seats. I see a couple of people got them some nachos and a side of Coca-Cola, and y'all eagerly ready to dive into the next part of the seminar, hidden complaints. That's right. We're going to find them, and we're going to look at disappearing. You know, those hidden complaints, whew, they can be wicked. But before we start, as you know, we always create the space for pragmatic possibility. So we have a couple of performances to introduce this section. The first one, Diva Nakia, Mending What is Broken.
Mending what is broken. The places where you hurt are the places where you can begin to heal. The ways in which you are vulnerable are the ways you can gather new strength. There is no shame in being a victim, yet there is no reason to remain one. You are stronger already than every pain you have experienced. Each time you remind yourself of that, you grow even stronger. Yet, take a long, deep breath of fresh life energy in this brand new moment You can do amazing things right now, and you know it. Decide that the disappointments have distracted you long enough. Decide to live more by intention, less by reaction. By mending what is broken, you discover how very much more is intact and able to do great things. Heal the hurt, feel the strength, and with it, make life better than ever. Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. ProsperousDivas.com.
All right, mending what is broken. And we're not talking about sometimes what is broken. It's not that it can't be fixed. We need to admit that it needs to be mended in the first place. And as we open up the space for pragmatic possibility, a performance from Diva Shani to really kind of set the mood, intention plus activity.
Intention plus activity. Intentions with no effort behind them are nothing more than empty wishes. Activity without any purposeful intention to direct it can often be wasted. The way to invite achievement into your life with rock-solid intentions and enthusiastic efforts. Decide where you want to go, who you want to be, how you want to live, what you want to do, and then get deeply involved in life. The interesting thing is, your activities does not necessarily have to be overly directed toward your intentions. In fact, your efforts can often be more effective when they're not directly connected to your goals. Know your intentions, and then give your very best in every situation, to every person, every challenge you encounter. You will find that your intentions being realized, and probably not in the way you imagine. You have many more resources and abilities than you know about. And with strong intentions and commitment to making a difference, you'll tap into hidden abundance, often without even realizing it. Choose where you want to go and give your best to every little moment along the way. One way or another, you'll get there. Prosperous Diva. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone, especially you.
Oh, yes, and we could not complete the space for pragmatic possibility without hearing from the perfect diva, Diva Nikki, and this intention plus activity, clarity. I think we're going to need a little bit of this.
Clarity. In prayer, I create a clear vision for my future. When I set goals, I pray for my way to be made clear. I center myself and turn to the quiet place within. In the stillness, I listen for divine guidance. What is mine to do? How am I to do it? Gaining clarity is the first step toward achieving my vision. I call to mind the image of a crystal clear glass of water and ask Spirit for the same crystal clear clarity for my future direction. I trust that my path is unfolding in the perfect way at the perfect time. All is in divine order. Divinely guided, I follow the clear path to my vision. Aligned with spirit, I advance toward my goal with clarity and confidence. What was once beyond my reach is now within my grasp.
All right, a great way to open up this segment, revealing complaints hidden from our view. And if you notice, we had a little iceberg, and it's got the tip and then the waterline and then underneath. The whole truth is often hidden from our view. Now, there are complaints that you know you have, and those are complaints are like, I hate it when people don't keep their appointments. Then there are those complaints that are hidden from our view. You know, they're in the background. They're like that 10 times better to be equal that stopped being a complaint, and it was just right. It was real, only it wasn't. There are complaints these are complaints that fester, and like the iceberg that hit the Titanic, boom, can leave your business in shambles before you know it. What can we do? How do we do it? Is there a lifeboat? Entrepreneurs and business owners first. Oh my! How do we uncover complaints that are hidden from our view? You know, they're hidden. If you can see, just say, look, if I can see that complaint, just give me that old complaint now. I'll take care of it. But they're hidden from our view. Now, in this segment, we're going to have an inquiry. And as a result of this inquiry, you will create ways to find those icebergs and take actions to have them float out of existence. Now, the inquiry starts with this question: what would you get from having or keeping a complaint hidden from your own view? Now, earlier we talked about a persistent complaint, and we said the nature of a persistent complaint is that it's a facade that you create to avoid being responsible. And that shows up many ways. You had a complaint, and people will give you actions that you can do, and you will get upset with, oh, I can't do that. Well, right now I'm busy. You know, all of a sudden everything has no power when it comes to that complaint, because you want to avoid responsibility, but it has cost. It has cost. Now, many of us, when the costs get too great, we'll give it up. We'll give it up. But a lot of times that cost being too great, we've lost the business. We didn't. The sale fell through. The marriage didn't work. We look up, and all of a sudden we have things have to dramatically. You get fired. Okay, well, hey, you had that complaint about the job. Now you're fired. Now you got another complaint. Why did they fire me? I did such and such. So how do we uncover complaints that are hidden from our view? We ask the question: what could we be getting from having or keeping a complaint hidden from our own view? Now, years ago, there was a movie called Angel Heart. And in Angel Heart, a man hides from the devil by hiding himself from himself. That's right. He hid from the devil by hiding from himself. Now, if you saw the movie, it doesn't actually work out too well. And that's the same thing with the complaints that we keep. And notice I said we keep, not that they on themselves. Complaints have no power unless we give them power. Ultimately, we hide complaints from our view when we do not want to be responsible. So what we'll do is we may worry about looking bad or having to deal with negative attitudes and opinions, or we're just plain, I'm scared. I don't want to deal with it. No, you can't make me deal with that complaint. I'd rather have the complaint that it's a good complaint, because if I dealt with that complaint, I'd have to go to school and get a second degree. Or I'd have to, stop sloughing off at work. Or maybe I would have to make 10 more sales calls. These are the complaints we don't treat as complaints because we want to keep them around. We are still getting juice out of them. There's a great story of a lady who complained for years about her husband, the drunk. He's a drunk. All he does is work, and he gets off of work and he drinks. Well, one day her husband stopped drinking. He stopped, started going to church, joined the choir, and turned himself around. And she divorced him. That's right, she divorced him. And the idea behind the story is that, see, as long as she had that complaint, it was fine. But then when he actually resolved it, that wasn't who she wanted. She was getting something out of having that complaint. Now, let me share with you a complaint that was hidden from my view. I didn't have it. It was a complaint. It was real. And bottom line is, the two people I love in the whole world. I love my family. I love the Divas and people. But my mother and my youngest sister, I have a sister that's like right under me, and I love them to death. Do anything in the world for them. And they would complain. Well, actually, I had a complaint. My complaint was, why can't they just get along? My mother and sister would just feud and feud and feud. I would be at work. The phone would ring. I pick up the phone. Ronnie, you need to talk to your mind. The things that she said to me as a mother, and blah, 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 blah. And I'd be with Mom. Oh, okay, Mom. And, listen to it. And it's like, oh, yeah, she shouldn't have said all that, Mom. And then I'd finally hang up the phone. And 2 minutes later, my sister would call. Well, Ronnie, I got to talking to Mama, and she told me I was no type of a mother, and Mama, and this, and you need to talk to Mama, and blah, blah, blah. And okay, sis, calming her down. Now, this would happen a couple of times a week. And I'd be like, come on, it's like I was trying to be referee in between them. And there were subtle complaints that I didn't really even notice. And one of the complaints was, this is it. Now, I had a great job at the time, making great money. I was doing things for my family, my nieces, community, and everything was fine, because that's how it should be. Only problem was that I was doing should and not what I desired. So my complaint was, hey, here it is. That's my mother, my sister. We family. You got it. And that I have to do something. Well, I had a conversation with a friend, and in that conversation, they said, what would happen if you weren't there? And I was like, hey, they'd have to talk to each other then. And he was like, what would they have to do? Talk to each other. So the next day, my mother calls, Ronnie, you need to talk to your sister. She done lost her mind. She is, and what she said, and Mama, did I do anything? Well, no, you didn't do anything. But your sister, well, Mama, wait, I didn't do anything, right? No, but your sister, Mom, well, maybe you need to talk to your sister. Well, if that's your attitude, click. Then, sure enough, a few minutes later, ring, hello. Right, I was talking to Mama, and she just never, and I like that. Sis, chill out. Did I do anything? No, you didn't do anything. But Mama, wait, sis, did I do anything? No, you haven't done. Well, maybe you need to talk to Mama. Well, that's how you're going to feel about it. Click. Now, the next day, there was no call. And the next day, there was no call. About a week later, I started getting worried. So I called. And they had no complaints about each other. None. Okay? What I saw was I didn't want to take responsibility for the complaint and that there was a resolution. And my excuse was this is what you should do. When really I had things in my own life that I wanted to do. And that was becoming the excuse for me not living my own life. Now we have a little exercise for you. And we're going to ask you to write these categories down. Relationships, family, work or business. And we got something else in there for you. Romance. Now, I know some of you are married and, you've been married for a while. No, put romance down for you. Now, some of you aren't married, but you're in a relationship or a committed relationship. Or you maybe even thinking, you know what, maybe I've reached that point where I would like to have romance in my life. So write romance on the list. Now, the question that we're going to ask is, what are the conversations that I have with myself or others where I pretend they are not complaints? What are the conversations that I have with myself or others where I pretend they're not complaints? These are the conversations where, for some people it may be, well, you're really nice, attractive, and haven't you met a nice guy or a nice girl that would be right? Oh, well, right now I'm not focused on anything like that. I have to spend time on my career and the business I'm putting together. And so you might say something like that, or see, I'm not gonna deal with a guy who hasn't got his act, like you would, like that is an issue for you, or or it may be hidden as a complaint where it's where it's not that I need to lose weight. It's just that they don't make clothes that that look appealing anymore. Or it's not that I should learn this new skill. It's that the Japanese and the Koreans have taken the jobs. But whatever it is, it's not a complaint because for you it's real. So what are the conversations that I have with myself or others where I pretend they are not complaints? See, that's what gives you access, is when you get that word called pretend. And now the second thing is, where do I choose to take responsibility for the complaints I've allowed to be hidden? And what new actions will I take? Now, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to work on your list, but I'm going to be talking during this 5 minutes while you're working on your list. So we're not going to take a break here. We're just going to go ahead and just keep talking here. Now, I did this exercise years ago, and I was like, hidden? Well, if it's hidden, how am I going to find it? And it would say, like, well, look, you have to, where do you pretend? Well, I don't pretend that about complaints. If I got a complaint, I'll say something about it. And, which is, what I would think most people do. Hey, I got a complaint. Well, I'm going to say something about it. But I didn't know how much. I didn't complain as the right thing to do. And a lot of times we'll take transformational work, or we'll take spiritual work, and it'll be like, you don't voice a complaint, because that would be like giving the complaint power. Now, yes, you don't want to empower your complaints, and giving voice to the complaints, if you're consistently complaining, is giving them powers. Expressing the complaint allows it to be, so that it can disappear. You know, when you have a persistent complaint, the part of the reason it's persistent is because you won't express it so that you can own it. Now, some of that might be tough. You may be in a business situation right now where expressing the complaint, like honestly, openly, authentically, that might break up the business. It may do that. But you would not be a victim of the business. You wouldn't be a victim of the circumstances, because you will rebuild. You will get better. You will learn from the breakdown. There's a great program that I dealt with for many years. Blessed them. But one of the things I got from there is that the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough. That's right. You look at millionaires, billionaires, if you really are able to sit. I'm not talking about the ones who were gifted money, they were gifted or birthed money. And I'm not saying them in a bad light, but they had a different experience. I'm talking about the bootstrappers, the ones like you in your chair right now. The over what do we have? We have over 100 some odd people on the phone lines. We've had people they done broke the system trying to get into the website. We'll get it fixed, but the Divas just didn't tell me how much people loved them. And it would just, they got it. Now, I know, I'm sorry, Divas, forgive me, but y'all, got that kind of power going on. People just beating down the door. Like I said, we looking over here, we got hundreds of people on the phone lines, and, people crashing the server. And this is session one. And I know you're getting value from this session. If you're doing the work, you get value. But this is session one. This is the session where I'm going to tell you a little secret. Well, we trying to figure it out. Well, how was that? What did this work? Did we have technical issues? So we thank you all. And if you have friends, people were trying to get in and they couldn't. Please forgive us. We're working on that technology and having the whole flow work, and we will have for those who register. Now, if you didn't register, then hey, we sent the little guest registration thing and all of that. You need to do that. But we're gonna now that was your 5 minutes to work on the list, and I do okay. All right, I can speak to one of the Divas here. Let's see what they got out of here. And Goddess, would you mind sharing what you saw from the list and what you created there about those hidden complaints? Okay, the Goddess might be muted. All right.
Thank
we
you.
will.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Goddess, any hidden complaints?
Oh, I've got a few. Would you like me to reveal them all or just pick a category?
How about we start we go with just a category for the moment.
Okay. So, I love my family, and listening to you talk about your mother and sister, I realize that sometimes we have good intentions to help, And in my world, I would say, hidden complaint, I pretended it wasn't a complaint, was that, family needs me. They need me, right? So I have to, run down over here to San Antonio and help mom, run over there to Houston and help dad, come back and take care of my own family here in Austin. So I had it that they need me. And I think that could be one of those mild complaints. I didn't see it as a complaint. I just saw it as they need me. So of course I have to do whatever it is they ask me to do. Hence the adrenal fatigue and an inability to maintain good health. So when I realized that, I said, I can say no. It's okay to say, no, I cannot do that this time. But maybe I can do something else or something different that would not.
And I think we lost the goddess there. I don't know what happened. She was in mid conversation, and okay, we're having a little technical. Forgive me, goddess. We're having a little technical difficulty. Okay, yeah, she went off. I do apologize, y'all. That was so juicy. Diva Nakia, anything that you saw from the exercise, anything hidden?
Yes, absolutely. Quite a few things. However, I'm going to basically stick with the fact that my hidden complaint was me ultimately being in denial and believing that without the acceptance of others and participation of others having my back, as I've always been the go-to person, that ride or die for everybody else, that, no matter what event they're hosting, having, they need people in the background on the forefront. However, I was there for them without fail. And then even when it was inconvenient, I would still make provisions to be there for them. But when retrospectively, when I needed them, quote unquote, needed them to be present for me and support me through my transition and my outreach and my growth, they were not there for me. It was not a mutual thing. And all of the promises and all of the acknowledgments and all of the accolades that they were giving to me throughout all the time that I was there for them and saying, oh, yeah, when you and as you, and we want you to grow, and we want you to this, we want you to that, and we're going to help you get there, and we're going to help you this and help you that. At the end of the day, where are they? So my constant complaint was the fact, my hidden complaint to myself was the fact that I really believed that I needed them. And without them, I could not achieve, I could not succeed, I could not move forward, I could not progress, I could not grow, I could not be without them. And I had to come to terms with that hidden complaint and realize that I'm still here, even without them. And ultimately did not need their approval. I only needed God's approval, and He had already given that to me. And I just needed to acknowledge it, be present to it, and move forward with it.
Wow, awesome. I deal with people of many faiths. Okay, I really do. And so I have to, and I have my own particular faith. And so I have to be responsible. But oftentimes, people of faith, whether they're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whatever, they forget. They forget. And they start, what happens is that they start thinking they need something outside of what was already given them power.
Absolutely.
And the truth is that it's been a convenient excuse to avoid owning your own divineness.
That's right. Absolutely.
You know, you are a child of God. You are divine. You are created in a divine image. You are lacking nothing. Now,
Absolutely.
the thing is, we're whole and complete, full of joy, but there are barriers for us to be present and experience that. And that's what we do in this course, is we're peeling away like an onion certain barriers. And we'll see that those barriers impact all areas, not just business, wealth, because they're all intertwined.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Now, that Goddess, were we able to get the communication back to you? Okay, we may not. I think she joined us back, but I really, the Diva, Nakia, Diva, the Goddess, I want to thank y'all for your sharing. It's just been so on point, and working with me for the exercises for this evening. That has just been simply awesome. And we got like I said, the Goddess came back, but it looks like we got a couple of little technical issues here. We can't get her sound back, so I'm gonna see it now, and it don't look like we can do nothing with that one. But hey, we tried here. But I want to acknowledge everyone who has been participating. The hundreds of people who are on the phone lines, and I don't know, I guess people got cell phones, and y'all folks say, hey, look, I'm at the office. Now, don't get in trouble now, because we ain't giving you a dime. We promise you grow your mind and money, but we don't want you getting fired listening to the show. We're listening to the workshop this evening, but we do want you to be empowered. And I want to thank the Divas, because all this work, all this material is from the Divas. All of it. Now, pieces of it, certain distinctions, practices, they're universal. They've been taken from everywhere. So, but the Grow Your Mind and Money workshop seminar series, that's all a creation of the Prosperous Divas. Diva Nakia, Diva Nikki, Diva Shani, Diva Quiet Storm, the Goddess Brenda. Just these are ladies who are extraordinary, and they're not. And well, I don't say what they're not. They're extraordinary because they put their butts on the line to manifest their desires, the desires of others, and do it in a positive, universal spirit. Authentic, powerful. These ladies. Now, there are a couple of them. They are not single, so you will get in trouble. They are married folks. Then there are a couple of them. But they picky. I'm gonna tell you, they divas, so they picky-ish. Now. We're going to move on to our final session, and our final session, I'm going to tell you, is powerful, and it'll have you producing results immediately with velocity. That's right, immediately with velocity. So we're going to give you a little magic formula for producing results with velocity. Ho, 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 ho. And but before we always have to have our space. That's right, the space for pragmatic possibility. So for the space of pragmatic possibility, I'm just going to say a statement. You gain your strength from your weaknesses. Do not discount your weaknesses. They are a source of strength. Relish. That's right. Relish your weaknesses as opportunities for you to transform and be empowered. Okay? So that's the space of pragmatic possibility for this segment. And we want to again thank everyone for it's been a lot of work. I don't know how we got all the work we've gotten done in this session. And it's just blown my mind. I don't know if it's blown your mind, but this has just been awesome. And again, to all you folks on the phone lines and the ones who have web issues, but they made it in anyway, and they doing the thing. We love you. We thank you, and we know that we're giving you. Well, actually, we're not giving you anything. We're taking stuff away so that you can create. Now, a magic formula for producing results with velocity. Now, in this segment, you will learn the foundation and 3 ways to produce results with velocity. Integrity is the foundation that allows for powerful results to be produced with blazing fast velocity. Now, I want to distinguish integrity as not from the moral definition. Now, notice I said distinguish it, and I said not as a moral definition. And there is moral integrity. But for this conversation, for what we're doing to produce results with velocity, we want to look at integrity as workability. And in the world of workability, integrity is the state of being whole and complete, honoring one's word as oneself. I'm going to say that again. The state of being whole and complete, honoring one's word as oneself. Now, there are actions that are consistent with that distinction. One of the actions is that you'd actually give your word. That's right, you would give your word. And that might look like a promise. So you make promises. Now, in giving your word, you make promises, and there are times you fail, you break your word. The beauty of integrity as the state of being whole and complete is you can restore that integrity. So you clean up the mess. You do what you can to reduce the harm or the impact of breaking your word. You acknowledge, because your word means something for you. Your word is your bond. Your word is the manifestation, the faith as tiny as a mustard seed will move mountains. Your word. Mountain move, that mountain shall be moved. Integrity as the state of being whole and complete, and honoring one's word as oneself. As we say, the truth will set you free. Now, when we talk about integrity as workability, we want to look at, like when you look at a bicycle and all the spokes on a bicycle are in alignment, you can ride the bicycle carefree. It has integrity. Now, for some of you who've been in the military, some of you haven't, if you're in a submarine, when it glows below the surface, it has what they call structural integrity, like there are no leaks. Now, when the integrity is leaking or there is weakness, it slows down our results. Now, the thing about integrity is that we want to, our tendency is, because remember, we want to be right. So we are fearful of integrity because we might be wrong. I don't want to make a commitment. Why? Well, if I make this commitment, I might fail. I might do something that's not consistent with that commitment. So now I got all the, well, you know what? I'll just not make a commitment. How's that working for you? I won't take a risk. I won't say yes. I won't say no. That's right. I won't say no. because I don't want to be wrong. So we get everything collapsed. Now, how many times, and because we're talking about people in business, and you can map this on to other types of relations, professional, how many times have you oversold the expectations, trying hard to make the sale? Well, it's going to be great, and you're going to get 10 widgets, and they're going to add this on, and you're like, oh, man, I hope we can come through with this, and blah, blah, blah. How did that work out? Or if you join this group, well, you'll be able to kick back, and checks will be flying in the mail. How did that work out for you? How many times have you told yourself to offer a lower price or make a deal to get the deal when you knew your services were worth way more? You know, that doesn't have integrity. No, I need to work out a lower price. Well, see, they won't pay because they're cheap, so I got to do that. So I'm going to be right that people won't pay me well. How's that working out for you? How many times have you kept yourself from saying something like this? Mr. Jones, the work will be hard, very hard. This business or project may not be for you. This is not a business for everyone. This is a business for those committed and serious, willing to do the work for the long haul. Wow. You know, I have friends who have $1 million investments. You know, people invest millions of dollars in their businesses or projects. The first thing they tell them is, well, I'm going to tell you now, we could lose all this money in 90 days. They look at me now, we can lose all this money. Sir, your $1 million, I'm going to tell you now, odds are we may lose this in 90 days. And they get at people go, son, here's this $1 million. Here is this $1 million. Try to cajole or try to paint it, but they go, look, sir, let me just be honest with you. In 90 days, this might be a wash. Now, you roll with us, you go with the program, that $1 million might turn into $2 million. Now, I'm going to tell you now, 90 days, it could be all a wash. Some of you need to kind of look at that. These conversations or lack of having these conversations will bite you in the behind, especially if you're a new entrepreneur. And if you're an existing business owner, they'll tear you down. What you have built will be like weeds in a firestorm. When you oversell and underproduce. And you know, a lot of folks, they want to be consultants and do all this stuff, and they want to get paid. I want to get paid, and can't produce result one. What they end up doing is selling a fantasy, and then when people are unhappy because the fantasy had no integrity, then it's, well, you know, they're stupid people or they're wrong because you sure don't want to be the one wrong. But what did you promise them? So when we say that, we're not giving you any tricks, tips. We're not, like we know what we're doing, and the Prosperous Divas, they take no nonsense. They want you to be for real. Now, just going to share something, a bad business investment and not sticking to my plan. And, let me just share this. Years ago, had a business project. Business project was plain and simple. We were going to make sexy shower curtains, naughty shower curtains, okay? And we had an idea that, people, they get to shower, they're all plain. What if we got naughty shower curtains, okay? And, approached several businesses. They were like, man, I like the naughty shower curtain. Wow, we were looking good. But We didn't have the money to do it. We didn't have the money for the manufacturing to get it set up. So one of my friends, because one Old Grumpy Radio, shout out to Old Grumpy Radio. I didn't want to forget them, and then shout out to your angels to the rescue. Because without your angels to the rescue, there'd be no Old Grumpy Radio and no Prosperous Divas. But before them, okay, I had friends, and I still do, who they have like millions of dollars. I got one friend, $50 million easy. And I'm not a friend of Donald Trump, but I could be friends with his money. But that's the end of that part of the conversation. But I've learned, a powerful, powerful man. There's a lot to learn. We did a whole workshop. We did a whole workshop. We had tons of people show up. The better than Donald Trump, and we gave away some of his secrets. We did. It just awesome. People were great. But so here it is. I have the project, the naughty shower curtains. I speak to my millionaire friends, and they're like, well, I don't know about this project. Now, I had laid out the plan. Here's the plan. This is how we're going to execute it. This is what we're going to put in place. This is how we're going to spend the money, how we're going to order, market, this is budgeted, I's dotted, T's crossed. Well, they looked at it, and they were like, this ain't a real plan. And we're like, okay, well, it's business plan. It has measurable specifics, steps, like manufacturing, sales, what we got to do. And, okay, well, I tell you what, if you make it this kind of plan, we'll give you the money. Well, hey, if you're going to give me the money, well, we're going to do whatever plan you want, sir. See, integrity went out the window right then and there. Right then and there. Because my plan was the plan. But the money, well, now let me change my plan to something that did not have integrity. But I did what they told me to do. So, that was like my excuse. Well, I did what you told me to do. And by some miracle, well, I'll just say this. Okay, we did the plan the way they said to do it. They gave us the investment money. The project failed miserably. And I was left like I owed them some money. Now, remember, the key word is investment. They didn't loan me anything. Investments are things that are at risk. And I'm not saying this to, like they were bad or they blah, blah, blah. I treated it like a loan when it was an investment. But see, the integrity went out the window when I did not stick to the plan. I didn't say, guys, I know this is the way y'all say to do it, but you know what? That ain't right. Because this is the plan. And if you can't back that plan, then we're just playing with each other. And that's what happened. But I was blind, and I did not see. But now I do see. And I won't do stupid stuff like that anymore. bad, But like I said, I learned a lot about that. And the main thing I learned is do what has integrity. Not from a moral, not from a right, wrong, but from workability. The plan that I laid out was a powerful plan. They weren't the right people to work with it. My impatience and my lack of vision cost us all, and cleaning up that relationship today. Now, I want you to write 3 conversations. We have a little exercise. We're going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to keep talking. 3 conversations you have with potential customers, current customers, employees, contractors, and others you are doing business that are not 100% truthful and have been costing you money, time, or peace of mind. 3 conversations that you have with potential customers, current customers, employees, contractors, and others You are doing business that are not 100% truthful and have been costing you money, time, or peace of mind. Now that includes truth. That includes how they say it, lying through omission. So that includes things you're not saying that would be needed and wanted for it to be a conversation that has integrity. So for some, it's what you don't say. Well, don't tell them that. That might mess up the deal. Don't tell them that they'll really have to do some hard work, and it's probably going to take 6 months and not be a blink in the eye. That's another way. That's a non-conversation. Include that. Now, next to each conversation, I want you to create a new conversation that is absolutely truthful and powerful. Okay? That's absolutely truthful and powerful. So 3 conversations that haven't been 100% truthful, and have been costing you money, time, or peace of mind. And a new conversation. And we're going to give you a few minutes to work on that. And while you folks are working on that, I'm going to keep talking, keep sharing with you, because each of y'all, I mean, just really, really fantastic. The folks, you folks on the phone lines, I'm like, wow, we got to upgrade the technology here. So I'm going to be talking to Old Grumpy Radio, because the Divas do what they do, but we all have to kind of go back to that guy at Old Grumpy Radio. And just wanted to, while you're taking the time to work on the exercise, I just want to share something about Diva Shani. Now, Diva Shani is Shani the poet, the original Sunshine Princess of poetry. And when she's not performing and not being a diva and producing world-class workshops and seminars that makes a difference, she's on Grow Your Mind and Money, the show that the seminar is kind of based off of. And over 200 episodes. She's a legend at the Old Grumpy Radio Network. But the thing I want to share about her is how a couple of years ago, she does an event for the March of Dimes, where she does her spoken word poetry. And, she did it because, she was invited, and she has a commitment to the people with health and health issues. She has caretaking for loved ones, and she's just that giving kind of person. And she does this spoken word for the March of Dimes. And they're like, wow. Our donations are like jumping off the chart. And when she said, Ronnie, I do this for the March of Dimes, and I don't think, and it just jumping off the chart, and it was just so beautiful. But it just speaks to the spirit that she has, that she's not even aware, and for most of the not even aware how powerful they are. Really. Diva Nakia. Now, Diva Nakia is the CEO and chairman of At the Appointed Time. And part of her services and her work is to work with families of people who have been incarcerated as they do the work to return to society and be responsible, productive citizens. Now, I love Diva Nakia. I really, really do. I do not get how she can hang around with all the more roughneck peoples, but her heart is big, and she's committed to making a difference in that community. And she has great counseling, one-on-one coaching for that, and so when she is one of the top hosts on Grow Your Mind and Money, Old Grumpy Radio. We do have to get that in. I said I'd be talking as you're doing this exercise, so I didn't say I wouldn't get, I'm not giving you a sales pitch. You don't have to buy Old Grumpy Radio or anything, but we're just acknowledging the divas. And we have Diva Nikki. Now, Diva Nikki is the president of CEO of Biz Solutions, where they want to salute your biz. Awesome, awesome, powerful woman. You know, when they say that dynamite comes in a small package, whoo, her picture's right next to that. Dynamic, powerful woman. Got to check her out. Check out her business. And we can't miss the goddess, Brenda Young, healer extraordinaire. Now look, when I say healer extraordinaire, mind, spirit, and body. Hundreds, thousands of people around the world she's worked with to heal their mind, body, and spirit. Just an awesome heart. So that's who you know, and we can't, our producer, the person who keeps me on track, keeps the ladies on track, Quiet Storm, a.k.a. Vanessa Giles, Diva Storm. We just don't get things done without her. Co-host, Grow Your Mind and Money, Root Connection, that's right, Root Connection, Human Thinking. She's had several radio shows of production and has made a difference in the lives of thousands of people with transformational work around the world. Now I have talked a lot, and we got to keep on going because I know you folks are ready to keep working here, but we're going to do a quick share before we move on to the next part of the final segment here. And do we have the goddess back? Will communication back? Okay, now it doesn't look like we got the goddess back, but let me check in. Diva Nakia, where the exercise, the 3 conversations, did you find a conversation you hadn't been 100%
Yes.
truthful with?
Yes.
You even the Empress of Faith?
Yes, even the Empress of Faith.
Well, would you care to share the conversation and the new conversation that you created?
Okay. The original conversation would be that basically the brick and mortar of Appointed Time Consulting, or at the Appointed Time Inc., the nonprofit incorporated, would be opening and operating soon. At one point there was a definite time frame, and then at another point it just became soon. The new conversation is at the Appointed Time Consulting and Incorporated will not have a brick and mortar initially, due to multiple reasons: cost, the overhead, the resources not being available as anticipated. However, at the Appointed Time Incorporated and at the Appointed Time Consulting does have a website available, does have a way for you to reach me and the associates, and does have an opportunity available for you to connect with me one-on-one and for us to sit down and create a game plan in order to move forward for you to achieve your desired success. We can do that in multiple facets, which could include Skyping, FaceTime, depending on the telephone type of system, operating system.
Now, I just want to stop you for one moment because I want to illustrate something to the participants. See, what happened was when you said, you know what, let me just tell the truth. Brick and mortar, I don't see that right now. And I don't know when or if I'm going to see it. But when you gave that up, you started creating.
Correct.
Well, look, you know, well, maybe I don't need brick and mortar. Hell, this is the internet world. I can do interactive consultations. I can create audios and I can repackage and recreate. Well, I won't say repackage, but I can create newly how my service can be distributed and how I can be paid and make the difference. Yeah, so I mean that's just awesome work. Now I want to get into more, but we got to get to this final segment here. But great work, Diva Nakia, and but we're going to move on, okay? Because we have another step in this segment, and this segment is about producing results with velocity. Make bold and powerful promises. One of the biggest keys, the first one is integrity. But now that you have a foundation of integrity, you got something to stand on. Like, wow, I got my word. I said mountain move, and I'm looking at that mountain. Didn't I tell you to move? My word is built. I say chair, and a chair falls out my mouth. I say this shall be. And the divineness in me, there will be light. So make bold and powerful promises. John F. Kennedy made a bold promise. We will land a man on the moon. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. boldly promised, we done come too far now. We will have the right to vote. Bold promises made without any evidence to show it would or could happen. There's another word for that. I'm gonna read that. Bold promises made without any evidence to show it would or could happen. When you make bold promises, you command attention. You allow divine force. People become engaged. They do. When you make a bold statement, you ever notice that when somebody says, "Now look, 50,000." Well, you may not do nothing, but your ears perk up. Someone say $50, all right, but they say 50,000. Well, how you gonna back that up? But they got your attention. Bold. Now, just to kind of share something with you about boldness. I was working in a past life. I used to be like a systems, a business systems analyst. I designed computer systems for Fortune 500 companies, the third largest advertising company in the world, still uses systems that I designed to measure marketing and media and all that stuff. And but early in my career, I'm working as a systems analyst. We got this big project. Everybody's pulling their hair out. Back then I had hair. Pulling their hair out. Should we go live? What about this part? What about that part? If it don't go right, the boo-boo rolls downhill, and you substitute boo-boo for a bad word that starts with S. And, all this concern. So finally, head of the department comes up to me and he says, "Ron, what are we going to do about all these reports? They got reports to the gazoo going to, 500 department heads and about 10,000 other people. Reports. And we no longer know who's getting what, who shouldn't get what. People ain't saying, well, I no longer, and we got to convert." And the head of the department says, "Well, Ron, if we turn the system over, what are we going to do with these reports? What should be done?" And I said, "Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. I promise you that if you let me handle these reports and go live with that system, you'll save $1 million. Head of the department was, wait, what? We're going to save you will save $1 million. I promise you. Well, how do you know? Sir, I'm not going to explain it, but I just not going to do it, sir. But if you go with me and make that system live, I promise you $1 million. So he looked and he was like, well, okay, now you say we're going to make it go live now, all the people and the reports and everything. And so, boom, they make it go live. So I come to the office the next day and I'm like, oh, my God, why did I tell him that? Oh, my God. And I'm waiting for the phone to ring. I haven't got my report. Where's my report? Well, I didn't get the report. Went the whole day. Nobody called. Finally, at the end of the week, 2 or 3 people called. Remember, this is out of 1,000 department heads and 10,000 of people. Most of the reports were created 20 years ago. The very people who used to have the reports weren't even in the company no more. People were just filing because we always printed them. And they were spending $3 million a year on reports. See, I took a risk. The fortune belongs to the bold. Now, how many times have you known what you needed or wanted and convinced yourself to ask for less, a raise, buy your product, support for a project, a deal for your business or yourself, that attractive girl or guy out for a date? Maybe you talked yourself out of actually asking him or her to marry you. If you want to produce results with power and velocity, you must practice making powerful requests. Powerful requests are specific and measurable. Powerful requests always include a promise for completion by when. Example, you need to raise money for a project or group. Here's a weak request. Mr. Jones, we would really like you to support our efforts by making a donation. Strong request. Mr. Jones, please donate $10,000 to support our efforts. If you agree, by when can we expect the donation? Now, that's a strong request. There are a lot of you who go, well, you should let them make up their mind about. No. You make a strong request. They'll make up their mind. But here's a bold request. Mr. Jones, may I put you down for a $10,000 donation to support our efforts for July 4th? Now, see, that's bold. Well, sir, shouldn't I just write this down? Now, same effort, which request would you say gives you a better chance of reaching the goal? You want to make a powerful request. Years ago, okay, back in another light, I go to interview for a job, and this is my dream job. They offer, oh God, I'm gonna get to travel around the world, work on these computer systems for major core. It was just the dream. I got got to go to Brazil and Colombia, and the company was out of South America. I'm getting ready to head to Israel and all of this, but they had agreed to hire me, and it was the day where it was going to be, how much are you going to get paid? And I'm like, okay, how much should I ask for? Oh my God, and I'm thinking like, well, I want, I'm looking at what I make. And if I can make like 15% more, oh my, I'm jumping up. I'm jumping up if I make $10,000-$15,000 more, I'm jumping for joy. Because I'm making decent money. I'm making good money. I'm single, good looking, rather fine, and all that in a bag of chips. And the production people are laughing at me over here. So I'm in there and I'm trying to strategize, and part of my strategy is I don't want to ask for too much, because then I scare them away, whatever. I don't want to blow it. So I said, well, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for an outrageous amount, and then that way we'll all laugh like, well, we're, but we'll give you so-and-so, like get them the offer. I'm working my strategy. So we had the meeting, and they, well, here's so-and-so, blah, 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 and they go, okay, how much you want? So I go, 100,000. They go, okay. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean, okay? They're like, okay. Now, I immediately got that I could ask for no more money and that I could have asked for more. I got that in that split second. So I did work out, well, I got to have 6 weeks vacation. And, you know, because I knew money was off the table, and they gave me that too. But bold, you undervalue yourself. Now, what I want you to do is to create, and this is an assignment that you're going to be doing over the next 7 days. Create 10 bold requests that you'll make in the next 7 days that would impact your money, your wealth, your health, business, romance, sales, career, and relationships. Now I want you to create one totally insane request you would be scared like crazy to make of a certain person, might be that person, or group, that business, that you know in your heart of hearts would leave you moved, touched, and inspired. So this is that bold, that one totally insane request that win, lose, or draw, you would be empowered from having made that request to that person, that group, that business, that organization. So we want you to work on that. And now we had planned on having a special, well, one thing before we wrap it up, because we are about to wrap up this session, and I just want to say that, wow, it has really, really been awesome. I have learned so much and gotten so much value from participating. And I'm just moved with all the people who, you know, are with us, who have taken the time out of their evening to join us, participate in this. We hope that you share it with your, well, we don't hope, we intend that you share it with friends, people, with the prosperity thinkers in your life, because that's what we're about, the prosperity thinkers. That you share what we're doing, and that you come back. We have another session now. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to, we promised you no sales pitches is on the website. There is another session that'll be Thursday of next week, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to create really powerful your entertainer alter ego as a way to attract and build more sales. And so, we are going to do that. And now we wanted to have a special presentation from our own Diva Shani. That's right, Shani, the poet, the original Sunshine Princess of Poetry. I'm not sure if her technology is working. We're gonna, but if not, we have a way to. If not, I'm gonna take a second here and see if the production folks can look this up for us to see if we can find this one piece from Shani the poet. It's just that she just has a whole bunch of stuff, and I think something is going. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Quiet Storm. That would be perfect. That is the perfect one. Let's go ahead and play this track, Shani the Poet. Check it out.
Yes, he loves me. From my head to my toes, all the way through to my soul. My flaws, my imperfections are perfect. What you call mistakes, he calls lessons. What you call luck, I call blessings. So no, I'm not restless. I know that I'm destined to shed a few tears, and no, I don't mean 3. I mean as many as it takes, because each tear will give me clarity. Allow me to see clearly that I am made in his image, shown how to give and taught how to receive what he has to offer me. He loves me. They ask me, do I believe? Well, if you have to ask that question, then you really don't know me. But he knows me. He knows how to console me. He knows how to move me. I know with him, I'm never lonely. With him, I'm never hungry, because he feeds my mind, body, and soul. And I'm full of the knowledge that he gives, and I'm thankful for the nourishment that he provides my inner being. He shows me how to find things that I think are missing, because he says that I'm complete. He's just adjusting me. That's how I found peace. He taught me how to truly love me, reminding me that my body is my temple, and yes, it is that simple. I'm covered by his grace, so I'm not afraid to face my yesterdays, my todays, or my tomorrows, realizing that I am on borrowed time, his timeline. And you may not recognize, but that means that I'm doing just fine. I'm no longer just trying to survive. I'm living life, and I'm free. Free from the nightmares that used to haunt me, and free from the demons that used to taunt me. But he released me and let me know that it's okay to be me. I don't have to pretend to be something or someone else, because I'm exactly what he made me to be. He loves me. And even when I've only managed to give him half, he gives me himself whole. He said that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So when people hurt me, he knows. He whispers when the battle's not mine, so I don't have to waste precious time. My, his love is good. Have you tried him? See, he can do what no man or woman can ever do for me. He truly loves me. So I love him for always being there. His gentleness in showing me that he cares. I know he may not come when I call him, but he's always there. I love him for keeping me safe in his warm embrace. He has never forsaken me, never just left me. Do you see how he has kept me? Open your eyes and see how he's kept you. Do you know that he loves you? I do. I truly do. And I know that he loves me too. So let me say this to everyone so they can hear me clearly. He loves me. I don't know what he sees in me, but I know that he loves me. He loves me. He loves me.
Snap, snap, toe tap. That was Shiny, Sunshine Princess of Poetry. And we do have a few minutes before we complete, so I'm not going to stretch things out. But again, I want to thank all the participants from all over the country. Some of them, I do see we got some Canucks in the house. What's up, Toronto? Toronto in the house. And we have, well, of course, we got people from around the country. But so I just want to thank all of you folks who are on there. I see a couple of my good buddies from Chi-Town made it through. So glad that you're on. And we appreciate all of you for taking the time. We're learning. We want to develop this workshop, this seminar series to have the most impact, make the most difference, and be practical, real. When you get back into your world, taking actions, that you can say that, hey, I did create a result that is impacting my health, my wealth, my well-being, maybe even my romance right now. Again, we want to thank the production people, Quiet Storm and her folks, for getting stuff organized and getting all the on the web, go to webinars set up. So big shout out to her and her energy. And it doesn't give her an excuse. We want to butt right back on Grow Your Mind and Money for that on that show. We want to thank Diva Shani for all the spoken word that she created for the show and let us use that she's created powerful. ShinyThePoet.com. And just really thank her. Diva Nakia, just want to thank her for just being the Empress of Faith and allowing us to work with her on a lot of the exercises. her and the goddess. Oh God, the goddess Brenda. We're so glad that you graced us tonight, and the goddess will be leading a session. That is right. Yep, she will be leading the session, as will the other divas. But we're glad to have the goddess on the team. We love her dearly, and Nikki Taplin. That's right. We have Nikki Taplin in the house. Biz Solutions. Awesome, 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 awesome lady. Powerful. Again, coaching, consulting. Salute your business. Nikki Taplin. And we want to conclude with this from the Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. So we want to thank you for attending this evening, you will get a follow-up. We will not be, as I said, trying to sell you a new wave oven or anything, but we will send a follow-up to get your feedback. Again, we definitely appreciate your attendance, and we wish for you to go forth and multiply. Have a great evening.